So I'm in San Francisco again, and you're sort of thinking, well, it's a bit irresponsible of you, Peter, filming while you're driving around San Francisco. But the great thing is I'm not actually driving. So while I was here in San Francisco this year, I thought there's something that I must try. Every year there's some new technology that comes along that's really exciting, and the latest one is driverless technology. So what you can see here is a Waymo driverless car. I was on the wait list last year, but when I returned to San Francisco this year, I was able to use one for the first time. So using a driverless car is remarkably simple. All you need to do is download the app, you'll get full instructions. But in order to demonstrate to you just how simple it is, let's have a look at my first driverless car experience. So it's really easy to use a Waymo car. You register, download the app, and then you can request a car. And as soon as you request a car, it will give you a pickup location, a safe space nearby, and it will wait there for a certain period of time. All you need to do are follow the instructions on your phone. That will guide you to the pickup point where you can get in the car and head to your destination. Sometimes you arrive at the pickup point ahead of the car, in which case you can look at the app, you can actually see the car driving on the app here. You can see it's beginning to approach the junction, and if you look at the video that I filmed, you can see it approaching the pickup point. All I need to do is get to the car, unlock it, and then I'm on my way. So back to downtown San Francisco and my first Waymo driverless experience. I thought it would be fun to film it and the reaction that my daughter and I had to getting in the Waymo car and letting it drive us for the very first time. So yeah, if you watch the next section, you'll hear our reaction as we experience driverless technology for the very first time. You ready for this?
Yeah. Hello from Waymo. As we get going, just give us a minute to cover a few riding tips. This experience may feel futuristic, but the need to buckle up is the same as always. We'll do all the driving. So
Oh, it's going fast.
during your ride. It may, but our microphones are only
It's
on
indicating.
to rider support. In the rare case
Is it allowed to
of
do this?
emergency,
Why is it moving forward?
please keep your seatbelt fastened and remain
I guess it's on
seated
a one way, isn't it?
unless there's an urgent need to exit.
Amazing.
Rider support.
Indicator on.
Which way is it going? Left?
Yeah.
Oh my word! Oh my word! Oh, this feels so weird.
I think because you're in the front as well, where it feels like someone's driving me. I feel safe in it.
Yeah, I feel safe as well. So the Waymo cars have a number of sensors on them. They have LiDAR in a number of places, they have radar, and they also have cameras. So when the cars are assessing their environment, they're using all of these things together to understand exactly what is going on around them. And the interesting thing is that the radar can effectively see around corners, so the car seems to pick up on things that you can't actually see even if you were a normal driver. It's very clever. And all of that information gets put into a computer that makes a prediction about where things are likely to move, where it is, and so on, and then it can safely navigate its environment. The control panel in the front and back not only shows you your environment, but you can do loads of other things on there as well. The thing that we tended to use it most for was the music that we could enjoy during our drive. Once you get familiar with being driven around without a driver, everything feels pretty comfortable and safe. But if you ever need any particular support, you can use the control panel to get in touch with Waymo.
Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened. For any questions, press the call support button to speak with a rider support agent.
So one of the curious things is how many of these you'll find. I read online that there are about 300 or so in central San Francisco. but it's not unusual to reach a junction and find yourself right next to another one. So yeah, I often feel tempted to wave to the person next to me because it seems so unusual and sort of, I don't know how to describe it. Because it's so new, you just feel that it's a bit different, and yeah, it's difficult to describe how it feels. But it works. It works. It's amazing. While it seems tempting, you're advised not to touch the steering wheel, because if you do, then your drive will stop immediately. So I think an unusual benefit of using these vehicles is that you don't have that interaction with human. I know that sounds slightly dystopian and cold, but when you are with a traditional cab, as you would call it over here, you sometimes have to have this interaction with the driver, and they want you to tip them, and they'll ask you all of those standard questions and so on. But of course, with an autonomous vehicle, it picks you up exactly where you want to be picked up, drops you off exactly where you want to be dropped off, and you don't have any of that interaction, and that's actually sort of quite refreshing. You don't feel it's forced or anything, it just does what you ask it to.
Heading to the Painted Ladies. Please make sure your seatbelt is fastened. For any questions, press the call support button to speak with a rider support agent.
So the streets of San Francisco are notoriously hilly, and they're not easy. There's crossways, traffic lights, tourists, cable cars, there's all sorts of things going on in San Francisco. So you'd think it would actually be quite a difficult city to drive around, certainly for an autonomous vehicle. But it seems to navigate all of that uncertainty pretty well. So yeah, it's pretty impressive. And especially given like steep hills and other issues like that, it seems to navigate them all perfectly, calmly, smoothly, and with a certain degree of certainty as well. So yeah, it's very impressive. So I just had a really funny thing that happened. Somebody just walked out right in front of it and it stopped and let them go. And it's clever how it anticipates that and how it is able to understand behavior. It seems to be able to come to terms with what's likely to happen and take preventative action. So yeah, you just feel so safe. I can't get over how incredibly safe this feels. So one of the mini trips I did was to go to the Yoda Fountain, because apparently that's something that you should do in San Francisco, which I have never done before. But an interesting thing happened to the Waymo car when I went to the Yoda Fountain, and that was that the security guard in the car park had actually put up cones. The car actually spotted that there were cones there and therefore refused to park in the designated area. But that caused it a problem because it got stuck in an endless loop. However, there was a solution, because on the control panel there is a pullover button, and all you need to do is hit that pullover button and it will immediately find a safe space to let you out. But yeah, if it wasn't for that pullover button, I would have been going around in circles all day.
You're here. Please make sure it's clear before exiting.
So it's often interesting to see how it drives, because on this particular route we want to turn left. The map was indicating that we'd turn left and that we were going left, but as we begin to approach the junction, it turns out that there was a lot of traffic immediately in the left-hand side lane, which we needed to use. However, it carried on driving along the middle lane, looking for an opportunity to turn left, and you'll notice in a second the steering wheel starts to turn before it realises that it cannot go left, and it immediately reroutes itself to carry on and find an alternative route. Yeah, so it was very interesting to see this sort of thing. So we also got to use Waymo on this trip in Los Angeles, and as anybody who has driven in Los Angeles will know, you don't really get anywhere very fast, and it's a very heavily traffic congested city. And that actually brought up an interesting scenario that occurred with the Waymo car, because we got to a very busy junction and it appeared to sort of get stuck momentarily, and it appeared to radio for help, at which point the junction cleared and it was able to proceed. So yeah, it's very interesting to see this, because it looks like it can actually call for help if it feels that it can't assess a situation correctly. So overall, my experience with the Waymo cars was hugely positive. When you first get in them, it feels really odd and unusual, and you're not sure how you should feel about it. But after a while, you begin to realise that it's actually driving better than you. It can see things that you can't. It knows the roads better and the streets and where it needs to go. And you just get this sense that actually this is incredibly convenient and incredibly safe. And you know, you definitely feel like you have arrived in the future. So if you happen to be in any of the cities where Waymo is present, I suggest you download the app and give it a go. It definitely seems like it's the future.